Alright, gonna record this too. Hi, welcome. We are going to be reacting to and watching a video by Yeagerists. I'm assuming that's a reference to Attack on Titan, but we are going to be watching a video called All 18 Secret Romances of One Piece Explained. I'm very curious to see how this YouTuber explains each and every single One Piece ship. I'm going to assume he or they explain it in a way where essentially they talk about like why people enjoy the ship. So I'm curious to see what exactly they say, and I want to react to it. Cool. Robin Black Maria? Well, no, that can also be a thing.
Probably aren't the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about One Piece. But what if I tell you that there are some secret relationships in the show that you never knew about? That's why in this video, I'll be explaining all 8.
Okay, so secret romances. Oh. Wait. Huh? I'm just looking at the silhouettes. So these are secret romances. I mean, Sanji Nami is not really a secret romance. It's very popular. What? Huh? That's weird. Anyway, well, okay. Let's not get ahead of myself. Let's see what he says.
Teen secret and future couples in One Piece. Starting with Smoker and Hina. You might think Smoker has no romantic bone in his smoky Logia body, but you'd be surprised to know that he's kind of a charmer. If you take a look at the cover page for chapter 586, you'll notice Smoker and Hina casually enjoying a walk through the town. Now, judging by the clothes they're wearing and the fact that Hina is holding a purse, I'd say they're most likely out on a date. However, if this image is not enough to convince you, there are a few more things that point in this direction. Firstly, we know that they enlisted in the Marines at the same time, and Oda even said that Hina saved Smoker multiple times when he was about to get fired. He even said that these two are stuck with each other. Another thing hinting towards this is that they wind up getting featured together pretty often, both in the anime and the manga. Like, for example, in this poster Oda made to promote Film Z. At the end of each section, I'll also give you a score of 1 through 10 on how likely a certain relationship is.
Oh, he's also going to get ratings. Okay, well, it's going to be very interesting to hear what the ratings are. But yes, Smoker Hina is a ship that is very likely to happen. Mostly because Oda kind of hints at it a little bit in terms of different ways. So, we'll see. We'll see about the ratings, but I would say Smoker Hina, in terms of likelihood to happen, I would give it like a 7-8. I'll give it 7-8. Not the Blade guy from Alabama. No. So, that guy was never a member of the Marines. Smoker did have no hair at some point when he was younger, yeah. That's Smoker and Hina.
To happen, and I really believe in this one. 8 out of 10. There are still
Okay.
17 secret couples.
Fair enough.
Cover them. And let's continue with the one.
I said the same thing, 7 out of 8, 10 of being possible. I agree with that.
Most of you probably didn't know about Kobe and Hibari. When we first met Kobe in episode...
Just to let everyone know, this is a video from a year ago, so understand, a lot of stuff has happened in the last year. A lot of this stuff may not be secret anymore. People actually might know about it. But, again, it's a year-old video, probably a little bit longer than a year-old. So, but Kobe Hibari, if you watch the anime, it probably is no longer a secret that that Hibari likes Kobe.
One. It was hard to believe that this frail, scared boy would ever find someone. However,
yeah, he was a
despite being
bitch.
The kind, gentle soul he was pre-time skip, he actually managed to attract someone, Hibari. Although his unexpected glow up,
you can tell it's a year old because her hair's not orange.
Definitely played a role too. So, what's the backstory behind this? Well, at one point, Kobe saved Hibari during the battle, and afterward, she told him that she had lost her very important teddy bear somewhere. So, what did Cody do? He went to the battlefield again and searched for it for multiple days. Although he got really injured, he eventually managed to find it and give it back to Hibari. And as you would expect, she has been head over heels for him since then. She even named her bear after him. When Kobe was captured by the Blackbeard pirates, Hibari and Helmeppo were the first ones to shed tears for him and begged the other sword members to save him. She also took part in the raid on Hachinosu and even brought Kobe some lunch. Just look at how happy she is knowing her hero is safe. It's pretty clear that there's something going on between these two. Kobe's just a bit too dense to figure it out for himself. I'll give this one a 10 out of 10 score. And if you're rooting for our boy Kobe as well...
I mean, yeah, it's the only Kobe ship that works. The only ship for Kobe and Hibari that works. So yeah, I mean, yeah, 10 out of 10. Like you immediately, by default, you know, because it's like the only ship for them to, by default, it's a 10 out of 10.
Well, hit the subscribe button to wish him good luck.
Yeah, I know, I heard that too, that he's been saying Kobe a little bit wrong
Were
too.
perhaps one of the most iconic villains of the Romance Dawn saga, and they both went on to become recurring characters within the series who stuck together even post-time skip. Some of you may not know this, but Alvida actually saved Buggy's life the first time they met by defeating this giant crab monster. Although they only formed an alliance in order to defeat the Straw Hat Pirates, they still kept working together even though the world assumed the Straw Hats were finished during the time skip, which means that these two probably enjoy each other's company more than they'd like to admit. Who says a jester can't bag a baddie? He's literally one of the former Pirate King's crewmates, and certainly knows how to be charming when he wants to. I'll give this one 7 out.
Kobe. God damn it, Seb. Buggy and Alvida. Yeah, understandable. I could see it being a thing. I don't know how much of it will actually be canon. Alvida has a thing for Luffy, whether it's a weird romance or weird, like, stalker vibe situation. Buggy and Alvida do make sense, but how likely it is to be canon, I can't give it a 10 out of 10. You know, 7 out of 10 is a decent score. Probably give it a 6 out of 10. I just can't see it eventually being canon or a thing that Oda does.
Out of 10. But let's now cover a future relationship that involves our favorite human reindeer, Chopper and Milky. Although we didn't get to see much of Milky, Oda did give us quite a few romantic moments that occur on screen between her and Chopper. I mean, just check out the way Chopper looks at her. Funnily enough, their relationship isn't as one-sided either, considering how Milky gives Chopper way more attention compared to others she interacts with. You don't see her kissing other Straw Hats like...
But that's not kissing, that's Gaucho. That's something different. Gaucho is like the way they, like, greet each other. I guess they greet each other affectionately, but they do it to everybody, you know, that they're fond of. So it's not really kissing. Yeah, I mean, really, who else are you gonna ship Chopper with? I know there's some very interesting. I say interesting. Weird is more of the word. Dojins out there that feature Chopper and humans, but yeah, it would fit. And who says that fucking Oda said there'll be no romance within One Piece? Come on, man.
This. During one of the SBSs, Oda has confirmed that Milky is the only character Chopper wants to date in the entire series. He even added that once Chopper falls deeply in love, nothing will be able to stop him. Although interactions between these two were very brief, I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world for them to end up together.
A 6 out of 10. I disagree with that, mostly because it makes no sense for Chopper to be with anybody else. The only issue I can see is Chopper being small, but you know he has different points, so I guess that's not a really big fucking thing to worry about.
6 out of 10. Mihawk and Perona. Someone like Mihawk.
Okay, I know about this ship. No. Not only is Mihawk, I think, almost twice her age, there's just no vibe. There's just no romantic vibes between them. I can't see this being a thing.
Who prefers living in abandoned castles and traveling the Grand Line on his own, doesn't seem like the person who would tolerate company. And yet, when it comes to Perona, he actually does. Despite how annoying he seemingly finds Perona, he kept her around for a surprisingly long time, and even took care of her and let her repay the favor. He lets her act like a brat around him, and overall seems to genuinely like her and care about her safety, even telling her that it's best to leave his island soon as the Marines will come for him after the reverie. Besides, considering both of their aesthetic choices, they are literally a perfect pair. Goth, gloomy, eerie, they're perfect for each other. Oda also portrayed their relationship on a couple of cover pages where Perona seems genuinely interested in him.
That's no! No! That's not what that even means! Literally, she's looking at the fucking bears, and the other time she's looking at the fucking newspaper. How do you take that like she's very interested in Mihawk?
It's emotional damage.
I don't understand that. How do you view it that way? No. Oh, come on, really? Wow. Ooh.
Portray their relationship on a couple of cover pages where Perona seems genuinely interested in him. Since the creator of the series is okay with portraying the two of them as close, maybe it just might.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. Honestly, I do not see it.
Work out. They're both very reserved though, so expecting them to let each other know how they feel isn't gonna happen anytime soon. 6 out of
2 out of 10. No. I don't see it. 2 out of 10. Nope. This is the one time I actually like heavy disagree with it.
10. There are still 13 couples left to cover, and let's continue with Sabo.
How is that a secret? Everyone like, how is Sabo Koala a secret? How is that a secret?
And Koala. They might be up against the world, but with so many missions to work together on, there has to be something brewing up between Sabo and Koala. They're just adorable together, and it's clear that they deeply care about each other. There's certainly a lot of chemistry between them. Just look at how worried Koala was for Sabo's safety after the Lulusia incident. Another interesting thing is that Koala even refers to him as Sabo-kun, even though he occupies...
Okay. Honorifics absolutely don't mean romantic intention. People have tried using the suffix, the honorific, so much they don't understand like the actual concept of them. Her calling Sabo-kun isn't at all linked to her actually having romantic feelings. It's just literally what anyone in the same little age range will call each other. Yes, they're close, but that it's not a signifier of an actual romance. It's not something that you should use in any shipping argument.
Occupies a superior role within the Revolutionary Army, which means that they must be really close. They've both seen the
They grew up together! That's why they're close!
unspeakable horrors that their world has to offer, and yet bring happiness into each other's lives despite it. When asked about them, Oda only said that they met while training in the Revolutionary Army, and that they work very well together. Until we get more information about them, I'd say this one has around a 5.
That seems off, based on his explanation of it. It just seems off. Like, you would think that the way he described everything about them, the score would be a little bit higher. So that's why it's a little off for me that he gave it a 5 out of 10. I would have been fine if it was like an 8 out of 10, but like, it's weird. Just the way he explained it. Because a lot of the things he says are literally what makes a good romance. Even if you only view it as a friendship, it's still something that romance couples need. Close emotional bonding, growth, all of that stuff is important. Time, worrying about each other, like all of that is like key to any sort of good romance. So it's weird that he gave it a 5 out of 10. But Sabo Koala is technically not confirmed at all, so I get it. But Mihawk Perona is higher? Mihawk Perona is higher? Like, that makes no sense to me.
5 out of 10 chance of happening. Sanji and Viola.
But Mihawk and Perona has a higher chance? What do you give Mihawk Perona?
They're both very reserved though, so expecting them to let each other know how they feel isn't gonna happen anytime soon. 6 out of 10.
How do you give Mihawk Perona a higher chance? than Saba Koala. I don't understand that. With the way you're describing it. The way you describe Saba Koala's relationship is vastly different than the way you describe Mihawk Piranha and also misunderstood the color pages and why she was curiously looking over at Mihawk. It's like, alright, calm down. Calm down, Loony. It's okay. It's okay. It's just a video.
Be
It's
really
just a
close.
video.
They've both seen the unspeakable horrors that their world has to offer, and yet bring happiness into each other's lives despite it. When asked about them, Oda only said that they met while training. This one has around a 5 out of 10 chance of happening. Sanji and Viola. During the Dressrosa arc, the Straw Hats cook finally got one over on life when Viola suddenly ran into him asking for his help. In that instant, it was clear the two of them shared a lot of chemistry. But it came to a boil once they shared a kiss to evade the kingdom's guards. Viola knew Sanji was a part of the Straw Hat crew.
Oh, she didn't kiss him. She literally did not kiss him. Why is he saying they kissed? They did not kiss. She just hugged him.
That instant, it was clear the two of them shared a lot of chemistry. But it came to a boil once they shared a kiss to...
But they didn't kiss. Am I crazy? I'm pretty sure they didn't share a kiss. Where is he getting this information from? I believe she only hugged him. What? Hold on, because this just confuses me. She never kisses him. Like, granted the angle's a little weird, but it looks like her head, like her forehead is touching his lips, like they're hugging each other, like they just close. They're not actually kissing each other. I just don't think there's enough evidence to actually say that they kissed there. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't see that being a kiss. Alright.
To evade the kingdom's guards. Viola knew Sanji was a part of the Straw Hat crew, so she wanted to lead him into a trap. But his
You just saw it. You just saw what they did in the anime.
lot of chemistry. But it came to a boil once they shared a kiss to evade the kingdom.
Like, you can't tell if they kissed or not, but it just never seemed like it was a kiss.
Guards. Viola knew Sanji was a part of the Straw Hat crew, so she wanted to lead him into a
So, like,
trap.
I can't
But
even
his
say.
charisma and
I mean, I
charm
can't
ended
make
up
the
winning
argument
her
that they
over.
didn't, but
In the
like,
end,
it
she
also I
wound
could.
up giving his
We could
crew
also make the argument that they
information that
didn't.
helped them defeat Doflamingo.
Maybe because of his reaction. Sanji would have reacted that way even if it was just a hug. That's just the way Sanji
There were
is.
several moments where Sanji made her blush, and his advances were never outright rejected by her. Even while threatening him, she was holding back the tears. Oda did his best to pull the plug, and eventually made the pair have to part ways. Even then, they both had a lot left to say to each other that might come out next time, if they ever meet again. It's possible, but highly unlikely in my opinion. 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. Yeah. Yeah, I could agree with that. I could agree with that rating.
Frankie and Robin. These two are the smartest people.
Okay. Really? You think Frankie Robin is a secret One Piece ship? What do you even mean by secret romances? Like they're hiding their romance, like, or something? Like, what exactly does that mean? All 18 secret and future relationships. I'm assuming not all these are secret then, because this one isn't really a secret. There's a lot of people who ship it.
People on the Straw Hat crew. And before Jinbei and Brook came along, they were also the oldest. So it's only natural to assume there'd be something going on between them, at least behind the scenes.
I mean, why? Why? Why would... I'm sorry, but I would not use that as a reason to ship Frankie Robin.
Scenes. After all, Oda did claim they're like mother and father to the rest of their crewmates.
Okay. Okay. I'll do it later, Chisani. First off, because people apparently do not understand English. The SBS, where Oda talks about, like, what about the Straw Hats as a family, it is a what-if statement. A fucking what-if statement. What if means it doesn't currently exist in the canon, but if, let's say, in another universe, and that they were, like, essentially a big family, that's what they would be. It's a what-if statement. It does not mean they actually treat each other like a huge nuclear fucking family. They may, like, showcase, like, things like they watch over the crew, but they're not an actual family. So many people confuse the shit out of the SBS. It's actually baffling that they don't understand what if actually means. Secondly, you can't use this argument because when Jinbei and Brook joined, which he did mention before they joined, Frankie was considered the dad of the Straw Hats in that what if scenario, but then he was moved to grandma. That is why you should not take that fucking SBS as anything. Because Oda literally changed his mind. I don't understand why One Piece fans cannot see that Oda can constantly change his mind. I really cannot.
Thanks. Not only that, but if you've been paying attention to the story so far, you might have noticed several moments between the two that show off their compatibility with each other. Like the time Frankie offered to give Robin a...
See, this is fine. See, this is fine if you want to use these moments for Robin. That's perfectly fine. I have no issues with this. Like, absolutely none. It's the other things that just... I hate using those. I even hate using those in an SBS. For any ships that I enjoy. Like, I hate using that.
A ride during the Wano arc in chapter 979. Frankie clearly wasn't happy about Brook taking him up on his offer. Not only that, it seems like Robin isn't very happy about the situation either. The heart in her speech...
It's not like she's not happy. She's just like... It's a sweat drop. Sweat drops don't mean anger. They mean like, huh, well, that was weird. It might... Maybe I'm crazy. Yeah.
Bubble clearly indicated she was flattered by the offer. And
that understands. The switch up one, I did not
only
understand.
because they're good friends. And although that might be true, you have to admit that their friendship has a good potential to be a bit more than that. Remember that Frankie was the one to save Robin from both.
I don't know if Luffy Diamond's gonna be on this, but like if he says, oh. He's treading water by saying that statement.
During Ennia's lobby, and later on, Robin did some very interesting convincing in order to make him join the crew. Also,
again, I don't like. If I was a Robin shipper, I would not like to use that at all. Like, why would I want to use that? I don't get to see why that is romantic whatsoever, and why you want to use that as a reason or evidence for your ship. It just. People do know that's a form of sexual assault, right?
Check out this cover spread from chapter 988. You can clearly see Robin showing some love to Frankie.
Okay, if you're going to use color spreads, you got to use color spreads for every single one. That's the rule. The moment you start using color spreads for one reason, for like to try to reason and try to say why one ship will be canon or why one ship will happen, you have to use it for every single one. Those are the rules. If you, from the very beginning, do not use color spreads at all, perfectly fine. As long as you don't use it for every ship that you discuss. The moment you use it to discuss one ship, you have to use it for every other ship. You cannot say later on for another ship that color spreads don't fucking matter. You can't do that. That's not how that works. But this is an interesting color spread. This is a very interesting color spread when it first came out because yes, that was weird. Why did Oda draw that? And then you also have Nami, like, telling Chopper something, whispering something. I think she even has, like, a blush on her face. this was very strange. This was a very strange color spread that Oda did. And yeah, interesting that he did this.
And it seems like he's enjoying every second of it. 6 out of 10. However,
6 out of 10? I'll probably give it a 7 out of 10.
this is not the only possible relationship for Robin, as there's actually another one. Robin and Law. Now, I know Robin and Law are the two characters who don't really wind up spending a lot of time together. However, their shared love of history does make it clear that there's a potential for them to actually get together at some point, despite not showing much interest in each other like that quite yet. Another thing connecting them is that they both lived through some of the most horrific events as children, and they both have seen their fair share of violence and madness.
So has, like, every other character in One Piece. Like, unless you somehow connect that into giving the two characters a little bit more understanding in future arcs or like future character development and character growth between them, I don't know. It just feels like you have, like, almost every One Piece character that we meet has a tragic backstory. I don't know.
They even share the same kind of vibe when it comes to being gloomy and surprisingly whimsical at the same time. They even went out on a date together, albeit to avoid suspicion.
What the fuck? What? You cannot make a claim like that. It's not a fucking...
But it looked like Robin was enjoying herself quite a bit. Although this couple is something a lot of fans want, I don't think it's that likely to happen. So, 4 out of 10. Zoro and Tashigi.
But why would you call it a date, though? Like, that's so... I don't understand.
Maybe a lost cause when it comes to certain things.
I don't understand
but
the
he's
reasoning.
Really someone who shows an interest in women. He's known to blush on several occasions when he's in close vicinity to a woman who shows even the slightest interest in him. It's the same thing when he's around a person who looks exactly like his childhood rival, Tashigi. Tashigi may be too frail and timid for someone like Zoro to fall for, but she shares the same kind of ambition and interest in swords that he does. She's also the only woman he's met who gets him bickering with her as if they're an old married couple. Furthermore, Zoro saved her on multiple occasions, and she even repaid the favor during the events of Punk Hazard. It's clear that she deeply cares about his opinions of her, and she's also quick to call Zoro out if she ever catches him slacking off. Although Zoro himself can't really pin it down, there's something about Tashigi that really bothers him. I'll give this one 4 out of 10.
Man. Dynamics, man. They matter. In writing, they matter. Especially Oda's writing,
But
they matter.
Tashigi isn't the only future relationship candidate for Zoro, as there's actually someone way more likely to become Zoro's future
is
wife,
that?
Hiyori. As if sharing a bed with each other wasn't enough, Zoro and Hiyori have tons of reasons to wind up together. You see, Zoro's
Whatever, let's continue.
ancestors were originally from Wano and later settled down in Shimotsuki village in the East Blue. On the other hand, Hiyori is the daughter of the Wano's former emperor, while her brother is the current leader. Zoro...
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Odin was the emperor. He's a daimyo, right? Aren't daimyos and emperors two different things? I thought daimyo was like the leader of a section of an area, no? But the emperor ruled the entire country. I don't think that's the right thing.
not only saved Hiyori's life, but he also made her fall for him with his excellent swordsplay. According to Oda, in Wano culture, the women are attracted to strong men who are powerful swordsmen like Zoro. Furthermore, on this panel, when she witnessed Zoro fight Killer with his impressive three-sword style, the text at the bottom is the sound effects Doki Doki, which...
I figured as much. Lub dub. It is Doki Doki. Wow.
represents a heart beating fast. Considering that and the expression on her face, it's obvious she was completely love-struck the second she saw him. Unfortunately, they didn't get enough screen time together during the Wano arc because they both had a mission to carry out. But the brief...
Okay, I wouldn't use that anime as that anime scene as anything for Zoro Hiyori because it is a filler scene. The Toei just chose to give Zoro no reaction to Hiyori saying like he doesn't care that she said that she will miss him. She just saw him naked. That is true. She did watch his body.
Moments they had with each other definitely meant something. If only Zoro had the brains to care about anything other than fighting Mihawk, maybe they'd be a couple already. However, it's still the best future pairing for him in...
I don't necessarily agree, but then again, Zoro Hiyori, Zoro Tashigi, I think they're... Honestly, I think Zoro Tashigi's a little bit higher. In terms of like the possible ship for Zoro, just based off like everything else. But there's a lot of things that have to go right in terms of Zoro Tashigi for it to work. Zoro Hiyori, you at least have one of them infatuated with the other. And it's not in a way like how Sanji is towards female characters, how Hancock is towards Luffy. So it's an infatuation, but it's not strong. It's not strong to the point where she looks goofy, you know, around him. She could have a normal conversation with him and, you know, like, just be normal around him. 7 out of 10. I don't know. Probably I'll give 5 out of 10. Honestly, for Zoro Hiyori, I'd give 5 out of 10. I don't ship Zoro with anybody, so whoever he ends up with, I'm gonna be very interested to see exactly how Oda does it. That's essentially that's my view on it. Whoever he does end up with, it would just be interesting to see Oda's reasoning for it if he ever decides to do so. Just so as Mihawk, then you have the best physical contest of his life. Smart man.
My opinion, 7 out of 10. Luffy and Vivi. Although it sounds weird, Luffy and Vivi may actually share way...
So that's what that was. Okay. I wonder if he's going to say the one bit about what Oda actually mentioned about Luffy Vivi.
More than you think. They're both incredibly significant people when it comes to the story of the show. They're also both from the infamous D clan as well. In fact, Vivi's ancestor, Lily, was a key ally to Joy Boy's cause, just as Vivi was to Luffy back in Alabasta. Vivi clearly cares about Luffy a lot, and she even wanted to join his crew. And yeah, I know this couple is really unlikely to actually happen, but it's One Piece. Everything is possible, I guess. 2 out of...
Well, okay. He doesn't mention it, but Oda literally shot down Luffy Vivi. Luffy's voice actress talked about how like she liked Luffy and Vivi together or something like that. Like no, they were talking about Luffy being interested in romance or like being lovey-dovey. And she mentioned that if Luffy was lovey-dovey with anybody, it would be someone like Vivi. And Oda was like, nope, that ain't happening. Nope. Nah. He literally shot it down instantly to the point where like even Luffy's voice actor was like sad about it. So
out of 10. Luffy and Boa. Compared to the previous one,
how is this a secret? This isn't even a secret. It's like fucking. It's like literally right in your face.
this one is a no-brainer when you think about it. Boa's completely smitten by Luffy and is ready to do literally anything for her love. She literally got infected with the love disease, so it's clear she's very serious about her relationship with the future Pirate King. Unfortunately for her, Luffy doesn't seem to notice her love at all, at least for the time being. You see, when asked about it, Oda revealed that Luffy is definitely interested in having a relationship with a woman. However, he is currently too occupied with becoming the Pirate King, so he doesn't have any time to think about it. So, once Luffy finds the One Piece and achieves his goal, this relationship is pretty much guaranteed. This one is an easy...
Alright. Alright. Alright.
Emotional, damn it.
Alright. How to begin this? Okay. It is not guaranteed. I guess that's the first thing I should say. It is not guaranteed. Absolutely not. He rejected her. Not once, twice. Literally, the only explanation he gave in terms of this being a canon thing, guaranteed thing, is one, Hancock's love for Luffy, and that Luffy is currently not interested in, but eventually he will be. Great. But he's assuming he's going to choose Hancock. Literally, in the entire fucking story, there is nothing in terms of emotional growth, emotional bonding between them that he pointed to every other ship in this video. Every other ship in this video. He pointed to about their emotional connection, emotional growth. Not once did he mention that for Luffy Hancock. Not once. He does mention that he's not currently at all interested in a relationship. That is true. But he's also currently not interested in a relationship with Hancock. This is literally the Luffy Hancock reasoning as to why they will be together. Because Hancock's in love with him. So it automatically means that Luffy has to eventually go for her. That he has to. That he literally has to. That's what the problem I have with this. If Luffy Hancock becomes canon, whatever. I could, like, for me, it is what it is. That's who Oda chose. But the reasoning is fucking weak as shit. Absolutely fucking weak as shit, because he's disregarding Luffy literally rejecting her twice. She offered food, and he still said he's not going to marry her. That's the problem with people who view this ship as just a one-sided thing, that Hancock's love is going to literally be guaranteed from Luffy. Literally, you completely ignore what Luffy is saying. You're basically saying that Luffy said that he won't marry Hancock because he's not interested in a relationship and he'll think about it later on. Why would that change? Why do you think that would change, that he will suddenly say, yes, I'll marry you? Like, I need that explanation. We're literally in the final saga of One Piece. Is Oda going to just completely rush that romance? Like, completely rush it? That's shit writing. That is completely shit writing. You cannot just rely on someone having a crush on somebody and immediately making them canon. It's shit writing. It is completely shit writing in terms of romance. It's... Man. Like... I am perfectly fine with accepting if Oda does Luffy Hancock, but the thing I would criticize isn't the fact that they're canon. It is the fact that the writing was possibly shit. That's what I criticize. That's what I criticize in terms of Naruto Hinata. I accept that they are the canon pairing. You know, I'm happy for them. I'm glad Naruto Hinata fans are happy, but the writing was shit. That's what I'll be more annoyed by. Not Luffy Hancock becoming canon, but the annoying and shitty writing it will produce. Especially if he's going to rush the shit out of it. Like, legit, it will be shitty. Like, you need to start giving Luffy reasoning to start feeling differently towards Hancock. I get it. Luffy's currently interested in becoming the Pirate King. I get that. You know, so he's not, focused on it. I get that point. But if you're going to write a romance with a character, you need to start showcasing bits and pieces here and there. You do not get that from Luffy's side. And that's why it won't work if you just rush it. You cannot just rely on Hancock's love and crush on Luffy to be enough, is the best way to put it. To be enough. You need more than this. You're talking about a guy who can't write a female character for shit. Here's the thing. Oda can write a strong female character. The problem is, he doesn't retain it. You are introduced to a strong female character and, like, it's, like, incredibly amazing and how strong she is and stuff like that and, like, how cool she is. Then the writing gets shittier as you get to know her more. That's the problem with Oda's writing with female characters. Oh, you meant Naruto. Well, yeah, that is also true. That is also fucking true. That Kishimoto did not know how to write female characters as well as romance. That is true. That is fucking true. That shit was still run for 10 years, if not more. I think 7 years. It just wouldn't work. For all everyone speaks about Oda's writing, do people really think that Oda will write a romance that literally is just one person having a crush on a character and all of a sudden they just get together without any sort of interest from the other side? That is shitty writing. That is rushed writing. It's going to be a shitty writing. I'll accept Luffy Hancock if it does become canon, but Oda needs to write it in a way that's believable, not rushed. And the guy's explanation for this video, Yeagerists, he's essentially saying that because Hancock has a crush on Luffy, eventually Luffy will be with her without any sort of writing to it. That is just shitty writing at that point. I don't know if Luffy Hancock fans will agree with me on that, but I think it's shitty writing. I would want, like, Oda to actually start writing, like, meaningful moments and meaningful interest from Luffy's side. If he doesn't do that, then, like, will you be gratified? Will you be happy with the writing? I think, like, you can point to, like, how Luffy changed Hancock all you want, and that is true that he has changed her bit by bit, but you need more than that, man. You definitely need more than that. It will just be bad writing. And I know Oda's really good at writing romance because we see it throughout the story.
10 out of 10. Sanji and Pudding. Sanji and Pudding are pretty much...
The Naruto guy wanted to write it. Naruto Sasuke would have been a much better ship than fucking the way he wrote fucking Naruto, Hinata, and Sasuke and Sakura. Like, you have no idea how much better writing Naruto and Sasuke had as a fucking romance. Like, holy fuck.
A married couple already, and although their marriage was arranged by their families, by the end of the arc, it was obvious that they truly cared about each other. Both of them have made sacrifices for each other. They've saved each other's lives too. Not only that, they both share a love for cooking and pride themselves in their skills. They're the perfect match. And let's be honest, as soon as he landed his eyes on Pudding, he forgot about Nami and Robin way too quickly. During the wedding, Sanji truly accepted Pudding for who she was when he...
Whoa. How dare you? Why are you shooting on Sanji Nami fans like that for?
Found out about her third eye, which is something no one else has done for her before. Nothing could make his love falter, except, well, having his memories with Pudding basically removed by her. Pudding had nothing but regret when she forced herself away from the man she loved so passionately. However, a lot of things can happen until the end of the series, and I believe that Sanji and Pudding getting together is definitely one of them. 8 out of 10.
How's that an 8 out of 10? How? Oh my fucking god. How is that an 8 out of 10, but Luffy Hancock's a 10 out of 10? Like, you literally gave a better explanation for their relationship than Luffy Hancock. Oh! I swear to God. I swear to... Fuck!
There are only 4 more couples left to cover, and at the end of the video, I'll reveal a possible future partner for Shanks. Usopp and Kaya. Usopp and Kaya share a special bond.
What kind of place is this?
He translates into them being a potential match for each other. I mean, they even shared a kiss during the One Piece live action, which pretty much confirmed it. Usopp and Kaya grew up in the same village, and despite being publicly known as a liar...
How's the secret?
Usopp could always depend on Kaya to listen to his stories, even though she knew he was making it all up. Throughout his life, he treated Kaya with respect and deep care, and was incredibly worried about her when he found out about Captain Kuro's plans. Despite being a complete coward, he risked his own life in order to save the woman he liked so much. Also, they have a lot of on-screen chemistry together, and Kaya is still keeping up with the news and fondly remembers him as if they'd never drifted away from each other's lives.
See ya, Seb.
As the series wraps up and Usopp becomes the great warrior of the sea, I think it's obvious these two will get together and...
I swear to God, if he gives us like anything lower than a 10 out of 10, not me, me. Oh, me like eyes. Okay.
happily live the rest of their lives. This one is a...
Okay, well, all right. I was about to say, if you give it this anything lower than a 10 out of 10, I would have been like, I would give up on this video on the spot.
10 out of 10 for me. Whitebeard and Stussy. Although there's not a lot of evidence to support.
Okay, so this was a year ago. Clearly, he's not aware of the recent events that happened in the manga. So this ship technically didn't... Clearly, Whitebeard was not interested in Stussy.
Support this idea. Whitebeard and the real Stussy may have been a couple in the past, like she claims they were. A big reason as to why this is possible is because both she and Whitebeard were a part of the Rocks crew at about the same time. Also, as we already know, Whitebeard's dream was never fame, wealth, or power. The only thing he wanted was a family. So, wouldn't it make sense that he tried to have a real family with someone before? I believe it's possible that these two hooked up at some point while on Rocks.
No, not really, no. Whitebeard gave him two shits about Stussy.
And the relationship probably went sour at some point, which led to Whitebeard leaving and starting his own crew. Another interesting thing is that Edward Weevil, who Stussy claims is hers and Whitebeard's son, defended his late father's island from the Marines. Not only that, but he also seems to have same mustaches as Whitebeard and even carries a similar weapon. Now, whether...
So? So? Like, so? Like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Weevil is Whitebeard's biological son, we can't say for sure, but the possibility of him and Stussy being together at some point is definitely much more likely.
You're drunk and she's horny, easy. So, Stussy sexually assaulted Whitebeard, okay.
Before I reveal who Shank's secret partner is, let's quickly go over Sanji and Nami. The constant simping Sanji is known for when it comes to Nami is a well-known gag within the community. But what'll happen if Oda actually throws us a curveball and legitimately makes them a couple? I mean, it's not impossible. Nami clearly knows he's into her, and if she gave him the opportunity, you bet he won't hesitate a second. Sanji and Nami have saved each other's lives on a number of occasions, and being through so much together could eventually escalate into a relationship. Also, we have to remember that Nami even went with the crew to save Sanji when he was taken to the Whole Cake, even though there were other members more capable than her who could have handled the task. I don't think this relationship is that likely to happen. 3 out of 10. Shane?
Also, the fucking that reasoning that he just gave, like, Nami's the one who went with him to rescue Sanji from WCR, it literally has nothing to do with more than fucking the fact that half of the Straw Hats weren't in Dressrosa, so the Oda essentially put them to give them an adventure for themselves. Like,
Shanks and Makino. From what we've seen in the show so far, Shanks has a habit of drinking booze with his crew on any island he visits. But what prompted him to stick around the East Blue for so long? What was so special about Makino's tavern in the first place? Why was it his main spot to hang out? Fine.
So it must be Weevil's dad? Yeah, but that doesn't mean it has to be Whitebeard. Could be someone else.
Booze aside, maybe there's...
Like, old Stussy could be freaking lying. Like, that can happen. Like, people can lie about who their actual parents are. We've seen that happen several times.
More to this story than what Oda's letting on. During the very first chapter when Shanks got into conflict with the mountain bandits, he didn't escalate the situation and decided to just endure their insults. Now, although he had his reasons for this, could another reason be that he just didn't want to create more problems for Makino? Another interesting thing is that on this cover page for chapter 614, Oda confirmed that Makino had a child. Upon getting asked about a baby, Oda told us that the father is most likely that person. I don't know about you guys, but that person could easily be Shanks if you ask me. He's the only guy we've seen actually interacting with Makino, and the pair seem to like each other even though they didn't exchange a lot of words. But if that still didn't convince you, take a look at this! On the cover page for chapter 806, if you take a really close look, you'll notice that Makino is wearing a ring, meaning she most likely got married. Fast forward a couple chapters later, on this cover page, we can see Shanks attending a certain wedding. Maybe it was his own? Since we don't have any concrete evidence of this, I'll give it a 5 out of 10.
He's right in that there's no concrete evidence of it, but everyone just assumes it's a thing. Who lied? I mean, can't think of anyone yet, but like, it's not that I'm saying that people in One Piece lied. I'm talking about like people in general lie about who someone's kid's father is. It can happen. One, you can make the argument that Stussy is doing that, but you can also make the argument that, you know, maybe it is Weevil is Whitebeard's kid, but like, there's nothing that we've seen so far within the backstory that showcases that Whitebeard was interested in Stussy at all.
Score for now. And if you like this video, you'll...
Overall, I was not a fan of some of his reasonings. Some of his reasonings were not good. They lacked... the reasonings that he gave for some of the ships was very basic. It was not basic in terms of like just a simple understanding of like why people ship them, but his opinion on them were essentially like, because for example Hancock has a crush on Luffy, all of a sudden because of that it makes him guaranteed. To me that's not a very good reason. Then you also have something like when he mentioned, I forgot what ship it was, but he mentioned like a close personal bond growth. They were together for a long time, and you know they knew each other since they were kids. You know they worry about each other, and he gave it a 5 out of 10. I'm like, what? How's that a 5 out of 10? The way you described it made it seem like, oh, that was more of a guarantee than anything. Hi Jonas, I am reacting to his shipping videos because it's the only excitement I get on watching One Piece videos. And I also have a lot of takes on it. But like, that's my point. Like, his takes on Sabo Koala made it more reasonable for them to be guaranteed at the end. But his take on Luffy Hancock, it wasn't as good. Though that take wasn't as good as the Sabo Koala take. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, why is that a fucking thing? Well, like, I don't understand that reasoning. That's what confused. That's why I got annoyed by it. Because he's not consistent on the reasoning as to why he likes certain ships and why he doesn't like certain ships, and why he thinks these ships can become canon. It makes no... His reasonings are faulty. I was fortunate the monster... MW2, Modern Warfare 2 game chat. Oh, I was there too. I was forged in that too. Although I didn't talk much because I didn't like talking to strangers. But now I'm streaming, so I guess that's a whole different story. But I usually never like talking about over like game chat and stuff like that. But like I just his reasonings are faulty. His reasonings are not consistent in what he views as romance. He's just viewing it as one ship at a time without any sort of like reasoning based off not only the story but like Oda's writing. And that's where a lot of like anything to do with whether you talk about power debates, power scaling theories needs to come from. So it's like, oh damn. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Some I agreed with. Some of the ships I do agree with. Some of them at least made sense. Others, it was just too inconsistent for me to agree upon. When you're talking about ships, you have to view it in terms of like the consistent writing that Oda has done throughout the story, and look at each ship through that writing in order to make at least an understanding of how you views romance. So that's why I just don't agree with some of his takes. But yeah, interesting video, but I just did not agree with his takes at all.